Tesla's flagship offerings, the Model S and Model X, are facing another strategic shakeup under Elon Musk's direction. In a surprising move, Tesla recently introduced two new, more budget-friendly iterations of these esteemed vehicles, standard range versions of the Models S and X. This unconventional maneuver is particularly interesting since S and X have long occupied premium pricing tiers, targeting a high-end consumer base. Adding to this unorthodox approach, Elon Musk has maintained a consistent pattern of price reductions for these vehicles throughout the year, seemingly directed at enhancing affordability even for customers already capable of purchasing these premium models. This intriguing shift not only raises eyebrows, but also prompts a deeper exploration into the driving forces behind Elon Musk's motivations for steering Tesla's course in this direction. And before we continue, stop using Yahoo Finance, stop using Google Finance, and have a look at our website, themarketisopen.com, where we have instant stock quotes and a brand new set of quarterly financial data going back up to 15 years on over 9,000 stocks, and it's all freely available. Tesla has introduced the latest additions to its lineup, the standard range Model S and Model X, with starting prices that are $10,000 lower than the previously most affordable options for the Models S and X. In the past, Tesla used to have a whole slew of different versions based on battery pack size, performance, or dual motor characteristics. They've since simplified the lineup, only offering the long-range and plaid versions of each of these vehicles, up until now, where Tesla has decided to bring in the standard range version. The Model S standard range starts at $78,490, which is $10,000 cheaper than the long-range version. However, the range receives an 85-mile haircut, reaching 320 miles versus the 405 you get with a long-range car. The vehicle's acceleration time also increases slightly to 3.7 seconds from 3.1 seconds for going 0 to 60 on the long-range model. Model X, on the other hand, now starts at $88,490, also $10,000 less than its long-range variant, and it will get 269 miles per charge and 4.4 second acceleration time, down from 348 miles and 3.8 seconds respectively. Furthermore, even with the price drops, neither of these vehicle variants meet the criteria for eligibility to receive the tax credits currently available in the United States. Now, adding another layer of complexity, it turns out that these new vehicles are essentially software-limited versions, purportedly equipped with the same battery pack as the long-range Model S and X. This introduces additional uncertainties regarding Tesla's questionable strategic rationale. Nonetheless, it's essential not to overlook potential advantages that both consumers and Tesla might reap from this seemingly perplexing move. First off, it's important to note that Tesla also markets the exceedingly competitive Model 3 sedan and Model Y SUV, which collectively account for the vast majority of Tesla's sales, making up approximately 95% of the company's total vehicle units sold. Before considering a Model S or X, consumers will likely look towards the Model 3 and Model Y. Even the highest-end versions of these cars are significantly cheaper than the S and X, and surprisingly with better metrics at a high level. For instance, the top-of-the-line Model 3 still starts at about a $25,000 discount from the standard range Model S, and it has just 5 fewer miles of range, and even a faster acceleration time. Even if you go to the cheaper Model 3 long-range version, it packs yet more range at 333 miles. Model X and Model Y are a similar story as well, but the gap is even larger. There's a $35,000 difference between the highest-end Y and the lowest-end X. Plus, the Model Y has more range and even faster acceleration. To make matters even better for Model 3 and Y, they do qualify for EV tax incentives starting at $7,500 at the federal level. So this puts even more pressure on the Models S and X. but they still have a few interesting things going for them. Just because the prices are higher and the range and acceleration are on par doesn't mean one offering is hands down better than the other. Model S and X have plenty of features that may tailor to consumer specific needs. S and X are larger vehicles providing more space, more legroom, and more storage. The X and Y SUVs can sport up to 7 seats, but the X's size would make this more comfortable. The S and X have a rear screen so that passengers in the back seat can watch media, which may be very useful for long trips and kids in the back. They also have 2 screens in the front, an enhanced sound system, a different driving interface, plus for instance there's no stalks on the steering wheel and the controls are highly simplified. They have large air filters for bioweapon defense mode, and there's a slew of other compelling features that still highly differentiate the S and X from the 3 and Y. At one point, Elon Musk contemplated the complete discontinuation of these vehicles, but instead Tesla doubled down and enhanced every aspect of these flagship products. Some people may also jive more with the sleek outer look of the Model S and X, and perhaps just want to show off to their friends, which is a legitimate reason to want the car. Now, Elon Musk's primary goal with Tesla is to get as many electric vehicles into consumer hands as possible, and so they're striving to make the vehicles as affordable as possible and continue to cut prices to try and do so. Because these new standard range vehicles are software limited, they're essentially the exact same car as their long-range counterparts. This seemingly has no benefit to Tesla, since it would still cost them the same amount to produce the vehicle. And for consumers, it's reported that Tesla has no plans as of today to unlock extra range or capabilities for these software-limited cars, meaning that customers won't be able to pay more at a later date in order to get full range and acceleration capabilities of their battery pack and motors. So why is Tesla doing this? Well, for one thing, owners of these vehicles could still add other types of software like full self-driving, which may still make them very valuable down the road. Elon Musk has teased that he's willing to cut Tesla's margins down to zero to get more vehicles to consumers, because he's confident that the premium margins on FSD software will at some point benefit Tesla tremendously, of course even after the cars have been sold. Another way of looking at this is that Models S and X are premium high-end vehicles, and so they hold a certain position, a certain aura in people's minds. These vehicles are one of the reasons why people view all Teslas as being expensive premium cars. It's essentially the halo effect in business, where a positive perception or reputation of one product or aspect of a company can influence the perception of other products. And so although Tesla has been aggressively cutting prices across the board, they even recently cut Model S and X prices in China, by introducing the standard range S and X, Tesla is in one sense sidestepping another price cut. If they cut prices too much, especially on a premium brand which typically needs to have some level of exclusivity, S and X could see their halo be diminished. However, with standard range, they're not directly cutting prices on their main offerings, but simply adding another viable option for consumers at a reduced price. This perception strategy does bring one, perhaps not so obvious benefit to Tesla, which is that if they need to clear out their long-range inventory, they have this option or tool to software limit certain vehicles that they want to move off the lot and effectively cut the price. That said, for just $10,000 more, the long-range option still exists, and so it's also a way to draw in and to upsell the consumer. Alternatively, Tesla could have cut the price of the long-range version, but that guarantees a margin hit for all vehicles sold and may hurt the perception of the vehicle. Plus then you don't have this method of enticing people to go just one level higher to get more features. There's also this immense gap which continues to widen between the aforementioned highest end Model 3 and the lowest end Model S, which was the long-range model, and the same is true for X and Y, where Tesla doesn't have any offering between roughly $53,000 and $90,000 for a sedan, or $54,000 and almost $100,000 for an SUV. There's a segment of consumers that might be looking for a vehicle within this fairly large $50,000 price range, and Tesla has nothing to offer, which could send consumers vehicle shopping with other brands. And so Tesla reverses this, at least partially, with the standard range Model S and X, where suddenly there's a more affordable, fully featured, high-end car available, and this could in turn put more pressure on competitors, especially since even Tesla's standard range vehicles are still significantly better than those of the competition. And so Tesla aims to cater to different segments of the market with varying budget ranges. By offering a cheaper Model S starting at $78,000, Tesla can tap into a broader customer base that desires the luxury and prestige associated with the Model S, but at a more affordable price point compared to the higher-end Model S variants. There's also other benefits to Tesla and to customers, even if the vehicle is just a software-limited long-range car. As Tesla continues to refine its manufacturing processes and scale up production, it can leverage economies of scale to reduce costs. This can enable the company to offer more affordable variants of existing models while reducing the impact on profit margins. If the standard range Model S and X can help Tesla quickly clear inventory when needed, or to increase sales volume, this could help reduce costs by continuing to scale parts that are needed for other areas of their lineup. For example, if the rear media system is a unique part in the Tesla Model S and X, increasing production volume here by selling more standard range versions can decrease the costs for all variants. Furthermore, the standard range Models S and X could realize extremely good battery pack dynamics with this software limiting strategy. Typically, charging a battery pack to its maximum capacity or draining it to zero could damage the battery over time. It also takes much longer to charge that last part of the battery when it's already at a high state of charge. For instance, charging from 5 to 25% is much faster than going from 80 to 100%. And so when Tesla's software limits the capabilities of the standard range vehicles, they can still select the optimal operating range for the battery pack. So they may only allow the vehicle to operate between, say, 10% and 90% of its actual battery capacity. That means these standard range vehicles, which use Tesla's 18650 batteries, the same as all the Model S and X's, could have much higher battery longevity. In 8 years from now, they may have barely degraded thanks to the software limiting being very selective with what it allows the user to do in terms of charging and draining the battery. Charging times could also be significantly faster, reaching maximum capacity more swiftly. This optimization is achieved by the software exclusively permitting operation during the battery's fastest charging phase, and indicating full capacity even if, for instance, it stops at 90%, concealing this detail from the user and displaying it as 100%. And furthermore, the user has peace of mind in the sense that they don't need to think about how their charging behavior affects the battery's life. Therefore, beneath the surface, the standard range Model S and X hold more advantages than meet the eye. Tesla can broaden its customer base, bolster market competitiveness, reinforce its brand, further its sustainability mission, and tap into economies of scale, all by making a simple financial change that doesn't negatively impact manufacturing at all. Meanwhile, customers enjoy a $10,000 savings, and although range and acceleration are moderately affected, they still receive the full array of features associated with Models S and X. Notably, this approach also unlocks unexpected perks like quicker charging times for the user and minimal battery degradation over the vehicle's lifespan. This strategic approach, which exerts even more pressure on competitors, still seems to align very much with Tesla's overarching objectives and the evolving dynamics of the EV market. So do you think Tesla's introduction of cheaper variations of the Models S and X hurts or helps the perception of their premium branding? And are there other benefits or side effects of releasing a standard range Model S and Model X? Don't forget to watch my last video on General Motors' crazy EV strategy after introducing some of their highest priced vehicles ever. Please hit the like button and subscribe, we would really appreciate that. And a huge shout out to all of our patrons that help to support our channel. Your support helps us to continue to make great content. Thank you guys so much for watching.